Hello, everyone. Thanks for being online today with us for the second episode of the ALDATalks. Today, we will discuss about street art as a process for rebuilding communities. And this event is sponsored by the Street Art Project within the European Sustainable Development Week. We can briefly look together at the agenda. My colleague Nadia Di Giulio will present the Street Art Project. She is the project manager. Then Anna Stoliarova, who is founder and director of the Street Art Museum in Amsterdam, will talk about digital memory capsule, an introduction about street art. And afterwards, Dominique Scalarone, associate professor from the University of Turin, and Ilaria Saccani, president of Chesmart 7, will talk about the Capus project and how to conserve and street art. Pasquale Gentile will present the best practice, the model of Borgo Universo, who is a festival of street art, music and performances and astronomy to promote the village of Aielli in southern Italy. And after the webinar, you will be invited to ask your question or express your opinion if you wish. So it's all from my side. I will give the floor to Nadia, who will present the STAR project. Thank you very much for the attention and enjoy.
Thank you very much, Eva. Hi to everyone. I'm Nadia Di Giulio, project manager at ALDA and project manager in the STAR project, which the long name is Street Art. Just a quick overview about the project. So basically, STAR project is a 2 years project funded by the Europe for Citizens program of the European Union. It involves 14 European countries, just to mention someone: Portugal, Poland, Italy, France, and a lot of countries from the Balkan area. So a really big picture of Europe is included in this project. And the aim of this project is to promote, develop a common strategy to promote social inclusion, increase civic and multicultural participation, at the same time raising awareness to prevent discrimination and intolerance by the regeneration of degraded areas through the street art. So basically, through this project, we would like to promote street art as a tool, not only for regenerating urban areas, but also to regenerate community from a social point of view. How do we do that? We do that by creating a network of European town composed by, at the beginning, composed by the 14 European countries involved into the project that will discuss and set the base of this common strategy. And we will also realize 14 participatory murals. That means a mural in each partner country, in urban area, specifically degraded or marginalized urban area. The mural will be a result of a participatory process which is based on a strong involvement of citizens from the beginning to its realization. Basically, the process is divided in 3 steps. The first step implies investigation, city investigation of the place. So basically, online surveys have been published and distributed to citizens in order to select the place where to realize the mural. Then through workshop organized in school, we will promote and spread the value of social inclusion to students. And with them, we will choose the theme of the mural that we will base on the social inclusion concept. And then the last step is the realization of the mural with involvement of an artist. In addition to the participative process, foreign international events will be organized within this within the STAR project. The first one was supposed to be in spring, but due to the COVID emergency, we had to postpone it to next year, 2021. For international event, will be organized one in Italy, in Arcugnano, that is a city in the province of Vicenza. Arcugnano municipality is the leader partner of the project. The other three events will be organized in Amsterdam, in Kosovo, and in Portugal. And the aim of these events is to sharing practices about the use of street art for spreading social inclusion, creating multicultural connection, and also building private-public partnership within the communities. If you want to know more about the project, you can mail me at starproject@aldaintranet.org or visit our website altaeurope.eu for getting informed about the project, its steps, and its activities. Thank you so much. So I will give the floor to Anna.
Hello, everyone. I am Anna, and I am a founder and director of Foundation NGO Street Art Museum Amsterdam. Street Art Museum Amsterdam, or SAMA, is a contemporary eco-museum focused on the identity of the immediate environment in a connection with local participation and aimed at the development and quality of, and aimed at improving the development and quality of life of the local community, using street art or graffiti art as a tool to social dialogue. Our mission is to create, explore, document, and preserve the growing democratic movement of street art. Street art, as in evolved graffiti art, resonates characteristics from many other predecessor artistic movements and combines them with the contemporary issues such as inequality, globalization, individualism, technology, and alienation. Similarly to Dada, Fluxus, and Cobra, street art focuses on the concept, the process, and the action, rather than the final product. It is much more valuable for its societal impact than for its aesthetics. Because graffiti and street art are more about the act than the product, the longevity of the artwork becomes less relevant. It lives until other agents and the city dynamics remove it, being tagged or painted over, being demolished, or naturally fading away. Street art in its pure form has evolved from graffiti. The term is often credited to Steven Lazardis, who is mostly known for his appropriation and commercialization of Banksy's work. There are many books about this growing in popularity form of art. Majority are coffee table photo books. Some are artist-related and produced. However, there is very little scientific literature on the subject. The first book on legal issues on street art genre was published this year. Academia officially still cannot agree on the final definition of street art. The easiest way to explain what is street art is through the comparison with its direct relatives, graffiti and muralism. All three live on the surface of the wall in public space, whether the building is private or social. The nuance is whether the piece is wanted or not, and has it been paid for or not. Most of graffiti tagging is not paid for and not wanted because it is seen as vandalism. Most of the murals commissioned by the government are paid for, but not always wanted because of personal taste. Most of the Banksys are not paid for, but highly wanted as they bring visions and values. So if you look at the movements through this prism, you realize that most of the commissioned murals do not really fall into street art category. I, as a collector, give 5 main characteristics to qualify an art piece which I would find on the street as a quality graffiti art. One is it's one line. Freestyle or stencil, but it has to be clean line. Do it yourself. It's a work normally over one person, and it has a certain distinctive style. I can recognize it again. And in fact, I'm looking for it now, such as Stinkfish or Spencer Little art. Location. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and the element of pleasant surprise always charges you to keep on looking. Economy of production. It's a smart piece. You can see that very little materials has been used to create maximum effect. After all, nobody pays for this to happen. And the last one is, of course, speed. It has to be done quickly before someone calls the police. When I worked in advertising as a digital producer, street art came up a few times as a tool to get viral effect. Street art is in fact perfect for marketing, partially because it started as a movement of taking back public space from big brands, and partially because it's vulnerable to appropriation. It's free, it's left on the street, it's available to everyone with a camera or a hammer should you want to take a brick out, easy to be appropriated, and it's easy to stick your logo on a photo. Easy to recreate. The artist, after all, is unknown or has no possibility to trace the appropriation. In the case of Amsterdam, it's been known for its populist marketing for years, and what we've recently experienced is a wave of street art popularity, from Iranian Banksy to Banksy Museum to the biggest street art museum in the world to street art curatorial saving the fake Banksy. We have it all. However, if you ask the authentic originators of the movement, the artists, as we did, the answer is simple. My work belongs to people and is not for appropriation. That is why Sama has consciously become a voice of the artist in its collection and stayed away from any commercial activities, including aggressively paid advertising and merchandising. Ethics, loyalty, and integrity had become the key drivers of our nonprofit foundation. The whole art form questions private property, a political crime of passion. Political art has had a significant place in art history since French Revolution and the development of Romanticism at the end of the 18th century. The political power of the original graffiti artists lies in their ability to reclaim the streets as sites for public use and enjoyment, challenging the increasing regulation of this basic human activity by creeping corporate and conservative political forces. As the philosopher Bruno Latour noted, instead of searching for more democracy only in the realm of professional politics, we draw attention to the new atmospheric conditions of democracy, to a complex set of technologies, interfaces, platforms, networks, and media that allow things to become public. In other words, we go back to the things of nature, of people, and of art that constitute the political, and ask what these things actually are. Around the social ethical standpoint, Sama has built its museological frameworks. In the case of Amsterdam New West, the district where we are, and Sama's collection, the artist guided the local residents and impacted municipal decisions to question our common identity, place, and relationship with the city's history and its DNA. They opened our eyes to the intangible, what is only perceptible to the spirit, and planted deep in our hearts a romantic feeling that brought with it the possibility to materialize the ideas and embolden Sama with a creative will. In this case, romanticism became a call to action, a transforming feeling. These artists have undertaken a journey with Sama, whilst pushing the museum to evolve and conquer the unknown, to challenge the unjust, to always choose a dignified approach, to never lose character, and most importantly, to respect the organic process, nature and humanity likewise. Have fun, play games, listen to music, and share delicious food. never forgetting to take control of our own destiny and to make our own city. Sama collection has inspired social, cultural, and political change in our neighborhood, made tangible and intangible impacts on it, and our memories, emotions, and connections, evidenced by the art pieces, photos, newspaper cuttings, videos, and friendships that document this phenomenon unfolding over the last 10 years. Years of producing and managing Sama's collection has resulted in dealing with the needs of various stakeholders on a daily basis, which has also allowed Sama to gain exceptional expertise in developing special approaches towards the heritageization of urban art, street graffiti or otherwise. To safeguard these intangible values, Sama employs participatory approaches involving all stakeholders into the discussion of what Sama's site-specific collection means to them, to New West, and to Amsterdam as a whole. The artists have given Sama the confidence to feel self-assured and dignified about who we are and our true identity. Despite the public misconception that street art does not belong to classic art history, the approach is assembling Sama's collection from the very beginning directly refers to cabinet of curiosities, prototypes of contemporary museums. Sama's collection has grown piece by piece, assembled like a pearl necklace along with opportunities that have arisen, been recognized and seized. Sama's collection has grown organically and spontaneously with curatorial, educational, and research projects being tailored around, shaping it in a personal and affectionate way. This process and approach to collecting has differentiated the collection and project associated with it not only from other museums, but also from other organizations working in street art in Amsterdam. I don't want you to use spray paint in my neighborhood. We are a good neighborhood. We do not want to be like southeast part of town, full of graffiti and hip hop, said a Moroccan teenager, Mohammed, when El Pez was painting his artwork Happiness for Sama collection. We found it very interesting comparison because both areas, New West and Southeast, are considered to be problematic neighborhoods. But it was an altruist with a spray can that provoked a dialogue on why. Street art coming from an outside the space of marginalized communities and lesser known parts of town broke a definition of what could be a place to enjoy art, streets and pissing corners, and redefined what can be an art object, throwing the ephemeral into the mix. When street art unapologetically marched out onto the streets of major cities around 2012, after Banksy's Cannes 2008 festival in London and exit through the gift shop film in 2010, it challenged a few definitions stagnating the contemporaries. What is the value of conceptual art? White cube galleries and expensive museums and dominant advertising. Street art was a showstopper for my generation. Finally, the attention was grabbed not by a mega brand or a glittering shop or a governmental message on how to follow, but quite the opposite. I couldn't just consume anymore. I had to participate. Get a camera, look up, look down, turn around, bend over, crawl into the pissing corner, just to take a good shot of a 2-centimeter spray-made rat. The exhibition and pop-up markets took places in abandoned places or subculture garages and basements, people's homes. The whole thing got mysterious and exciting. Suddenly, it was not about how much you get paid, but how little you need to make a big difference. Sama's posture has been adopted due to an intentional adherence to the original ethics of graffiti art production, and was inspired by the true connection and knowledge exchange between the founders of this young art movement that has sprung from the streets of all cities. Sama respects the multiple aspects of the art form, its ephemerality, political significance, its connection with urban space, and the possibility to build the communities within it. Understanding the graffiti art is yet to be recognized, included and examined in traditional academia and museology, Sama has identified the need to provoke changes both within itself and in the established cultural paradigms that contemporary world is rapidly outgrowing. The city of Amsterdam is changing fast. Once a home to provosts, fluxus, paint and beer gatherings at the squads of IDM and Villa Africans, the city is evolving into a controlled environment dominated by medium to large-scale institutions. Sama's collection was created as an experiment, an attempt at finding a semi-permanent solution to this creeping domestication of counterculture, something between the ephemeral urban art festival organized in the city center and permanent murals commissioned to match political agendas. With roughly 300 ephemeral art pieces, Sama collection is an integral part of Amsterdam New West and continues to add value to the neighborhood after almost a decade of years. As it is currently exists in 2020, street art is antithetically most frequently used as a vehicle for fame or gentrification and is therefore under threat of institutionalization. In the meantime, the originators and authentic founders of the movement risk being swept under the rug for their refusal to chase mainstream profitability and hype. Sama's continuous quest to earn these artists their due recognition and respect is traced through our research and exhibitions, distinguishing the first, who created the movement before the hype. The collection takes the visitors outside of a city center and through the streets of Amsterdam they've never seen before, bringing them closer to the communities and people who live beyond the four main canals of a touristic center. With digitalization of the collection, we want to honor the work that these artists have done to enrich Amsterdam, to broaden the city's cultural landscape, and to connect New West to the city center through a world-class collection of unique artworks. Sama collection has altered the economy, culture, and character of New West district and will leave its mark on history by propelling our young heritage into the future of extended reality, augmented and virtual. It is not only the incredible murals which make the 40-minute tram ride to Sama so worthwhile. All of the ethical questions have formed an integral part of Sama's mission since it was founded in 2012, and this is another reason why I return every year with my students. 1/3 of the content of their art business program relates to ethics and law. Not only do we engage in ethical and legal questions during our tours, but also Anna and her wonderful curatorial team continue to discuss these issues with us over lunch in their indoor museum space, with its collection of artist sketches and stencil templates. Sama is indeed a unique multicultural art laboratory where debates about contemporary aesthetics and ethics mix with this useful enthusiasm of the curatorial team and the remarkable talent of the artist. Sama is a reminiscence project. The walls will fall, others will be built. Some will be painted with all the necessary permits, others done quickly in the early morning, while life continues and the memory of a neighborhood is created. At Sama, we're busy with getting registered as a formal museum. As it turns out, the Netherlands might not be the best country to do so because of its object-oriented approach to heritage. In order to marry the stakeholders, the benefits, and the collection, we found a way around. As it happens on the brink of every century, technology changes everything. What was still a dream in 2016 has completely become a reality in 2020. For example, this year we were commissioned by prestigious heritage and culture participatory organization called Imagine IC to help them to document, archive, and record a memory capsule in virtual reality. My dream of 5 years has become true. Ability to low-costly record and produce the monumental architectural structure in 3D before it gets demolished. The participatory process which was used made me think of the next generation way of preserving works in public space. This is exactly how I would like to make my milkmaids to be remembered. Hence Museum 2.0 and all the work that comes around it over the next year and a half. It is fundamental to SAMA as a foundation that our work efforts, impact and contribution to the city of Amsterdam and specifically New West District does not pass unnoticed, especially at the time when street art becomes an ambition of a politician or covetous opportunist. In the last 10 years, SAMA has become an integral part of Amsterdam New West's heritage and is now undergoing a new transformation. My last goal is to formally register the collection as a Museum 2.0 and gift this digital memory capsule to the city of Amsterdam for its 750th birthday party in 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna, for your explanation, your intervention, highlighting as usual. Now I give the floor to Dominique Ilaria from the University of Turin for their intervention about street art conservation and explanation, the presentation of the Capus project.
Okay, thank you, Nadia, and goodbye, everyone. Sorry, I have now to... I and Ilaria will give a talk about conservation of street art. I'm pretty sure that until a few years ago, most of you would never have considered the possibility of conserving and even restoring a graffiti or a mural. But today the situation has changed, and I want to tell you something about the experience gained so far by the Capus project. So let me just briefly introduce what Capus is. Capus means conservation of art in public spaces, and it's a project funded by the European Commission under the Erasmus Plus Knowledge Alliances program. The project started in 2018 and it will end in June 2021. There are 17 partners, including universities, research centers, companies, one NGO, one museum, and 3 municipalities. The conservation of street art is still a controversial and debated topic. This is because on one side, street art is often still considered as an ephemeral form of art by the same street artists. But on the other hand, it is also true that where the artwork has assumed value for the community, then the need to conserve and protect it emerges. And this is exactly the starting point of the Capus project. Capus wants to give a substantial contribution to the conservation of urban art and wants to reach 2 main goals. That is the development of guidelines for the conservation and protection of contemporary artworks belonging to street and urban art. And the other goal is the definition of a training model for higher education institutions. This is briefly the work plan of a Capus project, including activities, results, and outcomes. First step of the project was the analysis of a socio-cultural context of artworks, including the selection of our case studies, documentation and interviews, and the design and implementation of a digital repository. In fact, most of Capus results and outcomes will be made available in open access through this digital repository. A few weeks ago, Professor Sagita Sunara of the University of Split, which is also partners of the Capus project, gave a presentation about Capus digital repository, and you can find the video of her talk in the YouTube channel of the Institute of Conservation of Scotland, and the link in this slide is in this slide. There is you can find a link, and you can go there if you are interested. The second step of the project was the most scientific targeted. It was about sampling and scientific analysis in order to identify materials and to study and investigate degradation processes. And then there was a huge job about the testing of conservation products. Work package 5 was about the implementation of a conservation methodology. So the main output of this work package will be at the end of the project and is the conservation protocol. But we already have some intermediate results, such as a glossary of street art and graffiti terms, and of conservation terms. This glossary is available in the 5 languages of country partners of the CAPUS project and in English. Another result is a template of a condition report, the one that has been adopted by all partners of the CAPUS project. And the final work package is dedicated to educational activities, internships, international mobility for students and researchers. The final output will be a teaching module on the conservation of urban art, a teaching module to be delivered in presence, but also an e-learning format. So during these different steps and activities of the CAPUS project since the past 2 years, we worked with and have a dialogue with different target groups, such as institutions, authorities, artists, of course, researchers and teachers, students, people in the broader sense. As for authorities, supranational authorities, I would say that the economic support given by the European Commission to projects dealing with street arts, such as the CAPUS, such as the STAR project, is already an evidence of the interest of these institutions towards street art. Basically, I think because street art perfectly fits with some of the challenges for sustainable development that are included in Agenda 2030. Under a local point of view, I can testify the situation in Torino, because Torino is the city where I live and where I work. And well, in the past 20 years, Torino supported a lot of events of street art. Already 20 years ago, in Torino, the municipality launched a project, the project Murarte, which was intended to promote street art. And people and project, I mean, it's already alive, this project. A lot of festivals, street art festivals, were supported by the city of Torino, of international calls such as the BART project. And the idea was always to promote the regeneration of neighborhoods through the creation of murals, often involving citizenships, people living in these neighborhoods and the districts, in the selection of ideas and projects and subjects of murals. Another important institution in Torino is the Urban Art Museum, which also collaborates with CAPUS. Reggio Emilia, that is another associated partner participating in CAPUS, also commissioned many murals in the past decade. These murals are always works that talk about the history of places or people. Since 2016, the municipality of Reggio Emilia, with Officina Educativa, has embarked on a path of dialogue with local street artists through a street art table, in which projects and methods of executions are discussed. This is also a way to involve other actors, such as students, schools, and with the support of the municipality of Reggio Emilia, also many videos were made, including the legal hour and the making of the work Ubuntu in Reggio Emilia. So probably because of the past history of Torino, Reggio Emilia, and also Milano, these municipalities showed a greater interest for activities of the Capus project. And some of the questions that they asked us were, for instance, can degradation phenomena be prevented, and how they can be prevented? Can the duration of a street art works be extended? What are the most stable and durable materials? When does it make sense to invest money to restore street art? And these are some of the questions that we are trying to answer. Another important target group we faced are, of course, artists. Artists have many different points of views. There are still artists, street artists, that are very anchored to the idea of street art as an ephemeral art, but there are also artists that already before meeting Capus were very attentive to the stability of materials used for realizing murals or graffiti, and they were very attentive to the idea of durability of their artworks. In general, what we can say is that artists are open to the idea of conserving street art, especially for commission works. But on the other hand, they are not open at all to the idea of musealization, at least the artists we interviewed in the activities of Capus. Of course, researchers and teachers were another target group, and in fact, academies and research centers are really the engine of our project. What I want to stress with this slide is that partners of Capus project are not only public higher education institutes or public research centers, but there are also researchers from companies, so from the private sectors and the freelance conservators that wanted to participate in Capus activities. And this, of course, very important for co-creation of new competencies and knowledge on the conservation of street art. And finally, but probably the most important target group was that of communities, citizens, people. This slide is a collection of messages left spontaneously by people passing by during internships of students of the University of Torino. We organized several restoration sites. The one that is in the picture in this slide is the restoration site for the mural of Millo in a, let's say, difficult district in Torino, Barriera di Milano. Another restoration site was in the very center of Torino, and it was about the ThyssenKrupp mural, that is in fact a sort of a memorial for the victims of a terrible accident occurred in 2007 at ThyssenKrupp Steelworks in Torino. People living nearby these two murals, although very different, because one is in a difficult district, while the other one is in the very center of the city. Well, people living there in both cases were at first quite surprised to see students and researchers working at their mural. But then they were very interested and always very, very happy about the idea that there was someone taking care of their mural. I say that citizens and communities are maybe the most important group, especially if we want to decide and define if a mural need to be conserved and eventually restored, because it is very important that this is something, this is a need coming from people living in the place that host murals in this case. With this slide, I will leave the floor to Ilaria, who will continue to talk about communities and street art.
So I'm Ilaria Saccani, and I'm part of CESMAR 7. That is a non-profit association, an organization that has a main point to research on conservation materials, and then we are part of the Campus Project too. I'm going ahead with the involvement of citizens and community in a Campus project. So do citizens and community care about conservation? Talking about Niguarda Antifascista mural that is in Milan. It is a very important artwork commissioned by AMPI Niguarda, that is the local section of the National Association of Italian Partisan, and with the local district of Milan municipality. And it was a project and painted by a collective of artists known as folk writers, that is particularly specialized in these political and social projects. This mural is about the history of resistance of the neighborhood during the Second World War, and for this reason suffered for 9 attacks from neo-Nazi groups in a time of 3 years. And always the residents have promptly and spontaneously repaired the mural over the years, and it means that the mural has undergone several repaintings and a total overpainting in November 2018 by the artists themselves. So we took the advantage, especially of course the Milan colleagues, they took the advantage of the experience of getting closer to the community to establish good practices of relationship and mutual knowledge with the communities. So I will briefly list and illustrate these steps. So first of all, the colleagues acquire familiarity with the location, with the 2 visits, to observe both the artwork and its close context. After it was time to acquire information and contact, simply searching on the web and from the press for general information and about the commissioners, about the artists, any other information that would be useful about the mural, because information are essential for communicating with inhabitants. Otherwise, it would be completely useless, the approach. The first contact, we choose to have a first contact not with mail, but with a less impersonal phone call, clearly presenting ourselves, the institution and the aims of the project, because the spokesperson could not have any idea about the topic you are dealing with. So it is very important to be clear about yourself and the project. So after this, it is maybe the most crucial moment if you want to deeply enter into the context. You have to let people free of telling about themselves and wasting time together. Very important. So, for example, during the first meeting with the president of Ampi Niguarda, he took us into the Orto Niguarda, a social vegetable garden where people living in the neighborhood meet, especially elderly ones. And so only after an hour of this enjoyable time spent together, he decided to that the moment for the interview was arrived. So it's very important to get closer to people and to all the spokesperson involved. So interview was very interesting to acquire details about the context, history that motivated the mural, and also the details about the production. After this, it is very important to participate to other moments of sharing knowledge together and sharing human link together. So after 2 months, the community itself asked us to participate to a charity dinner organized for financiate the repainting, and they wanted especially to know what was happening around their own wall. So try not to miss any occasion to meet people of the community and events where you expect you could have the possibility of sharing your research, but also to get closer to the inhabitants. And include, of course, and strengthen the link also with the artists. It is a good practice to meet the artist many times in different occasions, when even in informal ways, not only with a structured dialogue. And the last 2 points are very important too. So keep up notifying the spoke people, sending news and material concerning the prosecution of the research, sharing information and results, any comprehensible material of interest, and participate to events. In particular, we attend the repainting episode, so it was possible to observe the operational procedure, the materials used, and the reason behind their choices. The last slide is about another mural in Reggio Emilia that is there are 5 murals to be clear about by Progetto Rituale, that is a collective active in the around 2020, sorry, including an Italian artist and 3 Spanish artists, H. Sienteunio, Zosen, and Kenner. These are 5 murals of big dimension, 50 meters each, that connotes the place living with a new character and personality. So it was very important what the artist brought into the contest in its neighborhood, because they in 2010 they live together with in an apartment together with the people, with the inhabitants for 10 years, for 10 days. And the inhabitants follow the artists in their work, supporting them with food and wine. And during our countless moments into the neighborhood for analysis, interviews, and documentation, we spoke several times with inhabitants, always in free dialogue, listening to them. And from their own words, it emerges that work are perceived as an integral part of their houses now. Nevertheless, in more than one situation, they pointed out how the work faded or degraded, asking how to preserve them. This derives from the fact that the genesis of the work saw the participation of people, but also that these works speak indirectly of workers' houses past, which were born in the first part of the 20th century as a self-subsistence economy houses. So these murals that are talking about the link man and nature are indirectly talking about the history of the context. So we are witnessing a passage of belonging from the artist's creation to the context that makes its own, thus justifying the conservation intervention. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ilaria De Vinica, for presenting the Capus project, which actually activated the networking connection with the STAR project that we hope will also take other forms in the next month, in the next period. Now it's the turn of Pasquale Pierluigi from Borgo Universo Festival. They will present us this festival that takes place in Abruzzo, in the southern Italy, especially in Aielli village. It is a really amazing initiative because thanks to this festival, to street art, they were able to regenerate the village and even repopulate the village. But I don't want to tell you more. I give the floor to Pasquale and Pierluigi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nadia. My name is Pasquale. I'm the comms responsible for Borgo Universo, and Pierluigi is the president of the Comunicare NGO, that is the organization of the festival. First of all, thanks to invite us to this really interesting webinar, because we think that street art is a really important point during this period, I think. And I want to just introduce a little bit what is Borgo Universo, and then I will leave the floor to Pierluigi. Borgo Universo, born in 2017, with a simple street art review. We assign 7 murales to 7 artists. In 2018, the festival was continued, and it was the first time that we, in Italy, that we draw an entire wall a book. And this was done by Halleg, the book of Ignazio Silone, Fontamara, talking about the problems that were in the past between the people that working in agriculture and people, rich people in that period. Then in 2018, Borgo Universo changed a little bit and become a festival. And basically, we always had like murales, but also a collateral activity, like performance, like theater, like music, live music, and so on. Also supported by a tower, because in Aielli is 1,100 meters on the level of the sea. And we have a tower, medieval tower, that right now it's an astronomy center where we have a telescope and we can observe the star and planets and also the sun during the day. So the connection of the name also Borgo Universo is because we have this fantastic astronomy tower. So all murales, all street art interpretation have a connection between a star, planet, and the universe. So the important thing is that from Street art review, we become a kind of a festival, and this year we become officially an open-air museum, because we experimented for the first time, because for the COVID we didn't organize a specific festival, but we organized the tour of the murales. So we received around 30,000 people between July and August. You need to consider that Aielli have more or less 1,400 people. So we experimented this. The transition between street art review, festival, and museum was really short, and for us was a kind of a surprise. So, and we are a small group working, like there is an Pierluigi then will explain better how we are structured. But the goal, the biggest goal for us, is using the street art for regenerate society, but also create work opportunity and try to implement the tourism. So in fact, right now, there are a lot of requests of people that want to open a kind of bar, restaurant, B&B. So in 4 years, we experimenting something that is really new for us. And so we are so happy. So street art was a really important point to have this transition. Just number, last year we organized the festival just 4 days, and we had like 10,000 people in 4 days. Basically was like 12 hours per day of music, exhibition. We opened a small construction where we stocked the wine, and there was like exhibition of the people, and also was theater. We create a kind of stage where the people can come directly to stage and propose the music. And a lot of people also not from Aielli but around the village were coming to Aielli in this 4 days. So, and what I say, like this year we experimented for the first time 30,000 people. We start to have also a small kind of merchandising. We start to implement a little bit more, you know, our range of activity. So this is more or less. I want to show you our murales. This, for example, was from Milo this year. This was the famous wall printed by, drawn by Alec. This was the famous artist of Spain, Okuda San Miguel. Also, this was a guerrilla spam. You can see also how the street art is really connected with the village, with the colors and so on. And this is the famous tower that I told you, that there is like the telescope on the top. This street art artist was like Joe Pistone, showing the constellation, specific constellation. And then, yeah, I have more of these murales. I want to show you. This is the tree of the life. This is a kind of ceramic intervention. This is also matlacas. And for example, this is really interesting. In this house, the people is living, and there are 2 grandmothers that every afternoon they play cards. So basically, what we experimented for the entire festival, we had a lot of picture of this wall with a lot of all the time these 2 grandmothers. So that's quite interesting. But maybe Pierluigi can explain a little bit better the integration between the people and the street art. So I will leave the floor now to Pierluigi that can explain a little bit more better this synergy between the festival and the people.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm happy to be here. And as Pasquale said, we are really small village. So we are just 1,400 people. And basically, we had lots of stuff to do. There are lots of associations, a lot of people that want to help this village to grow up. But basically, we didn't have before Borgo Universo. Everybody used to work by itself. So Borgo Universo gives us the possibility to work all together. For that, we found an association, it's Comunicare Association. I'm the president, and we just did. We've been the glue between all this reality, all this part. So we make everybody works together in synergy, because synergy was already here. I was just was not focused. in something, in a goal to reach all together. As Pasquale said, the first things when you do something in a small village is that the people has to trust in you. So for that, our how can I say, our power was that the association is made from all young people. So everybody used to talk with all village, from the young people to the old people and all the parts in the middle. So we were the only one to go in the house of the Aielli citizen and say, okay, please trust in us and give us your wall. We want to make a painting. In the beginning, it was like a crazy. People treat us like a crazy. Now everybody are happy. And now I don't have to go in the house, but people comes to me asking for do painting on the wall. For that, we are really proud, and I'm really happy that we reached this goal. And what we have to, what we want to do, it's not just art or basically street art. We want to do something bigger, where street art is just a part, or basically not just a part, is an important part that can bring us to reach all the world. It's art, gonna be, I think, gonna be astronomy as well, but basically these are just two parts of a big goal to reach. The opera is bigger than that, and the opera is that we have to bring a new kind of way to live a small village, because we can do it. We have lived the really bad time, because everybody used to leave the village for the city, and now we have to do the job to the opposite side. Now we want that everybody that left the village has to come back, because they have something to do, and because here there's a big family where everybody can live together and stay together good. We are I'm president of Comunicare, and I want to say thanks because we have a really nice art director that help us to choose the people and artists and help us to grow up every time until I think we will reach, if we still work in this way, we will reach a good goal.
So I think that we say enough. It's not that easy explain Borgo Universo. Sometimes we say like to understand really Borgo Universo, you need to come, because to see the synergy between the people. This year we have like a budget for the whole artists for going to the hotel, have like a food, a lunch and dinner. And what we experimented, that the people of the village open the house and invite the artists for eating, for sleeping, for having a dinner together, to drinking Genziana, that's the family liquor of the Abruzzo. So it's really interesting how these two parts are connected. So people in the beginning, the first year was a little bit not so connected, but this is changing. So I think this is the really element that enabling the people in Aielli, the art in that case, enabling the people in Aielli, in the same case, start to open opportunity of work. I think this is the sense of Borgo Universo. Everybody is invited, everybody can come to Borgo Universo, just send us an email, we can absolutely, you know, like provide a fantastic tour of the murales with the local guide. This is quite interesting. Also, we have a local guide. All the guide, the people that give show the murales are local. We are not bringing other people outside, but not because it's not possible or because we don't want, because there was like a lot of people asking, can I show to the people the murales of Aielli, because I'm from Aielli. So this is another element that is really having a great impact to our growing to this festival. This year with the COVID was a little bit complex, but in the same case, I told that we experimented 30,000 people. Maybe it was the COVID issue because all people don't leave Italy and start to discover Italy in the summer, or maybe not. So we are now planning with also the mayor and the municipality, because also municipality, another point that we didn't explain, the municipality and the mayor. The mayor have a 35 years old, 36 years old. This is the second mandate. This year he took like 97% of the consents in the election, and he's really young and it's really connected with the association and really open, because 2 years ago when we present Palomar, the new art director, and we had like just 1 month before starting, he said, guys, moving forward. So, and this is a question about also risk and opportunity. So I think that the municipality and specific the mayor have this kind of quality. So this is, you can see, it's like a recipe. It's a recipe of stuff that you can put all together. That's Borgo University. Thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you.
And if you have questions, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, guys, for your presentation and for presenting Borgo Universo. You know that I really love this initiative, because I do think that it's a concrete example of what street art can do, especially how street art can work as a process for not only urban regenerating a place, but social regenerate the community and creating a really good connection and partnership between the public and the private sphere. So if there are no questions, I will close the webinar. Thank again to all the speakers. I hope we will have other occasion to talk together about street art in its power, and also sharing other best practices. So thanks for your time. Thanks for the participants for joining us in this webinar. I remember that if you want to have more information about the project, about the speaker, about the topic we discussed today, you can mail me at starproject@aldaintranet.org, and also follow ALDA Facebook page and also website aldaeurope.eu. Thanks so much to everyone, and hope to see you on another webinar. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.